Hey everyone, and welcome to my reaction to my 2023 goals and my 2024 goals video. That was actually really hard to say, but anyway, you get the gist. Today I am going to be looking back at my 2023 goals video, seeing what I did well, what I need to improve upon, generally reacting to them, and then also setting out my 2024 goals. So, let's get into the video. Hiring my reading goal for the year, so I'm going to be hiring it to 120, which I know seems like a big jump, but what I want to do is try to do 60 books and 60 graphic novels. Obviously I'll probably read more graphic novels than that. I'll probably read the majority of my books will be graphic novels, but I'd like to try and make it more even if I can, or at least make it so I'm reading more novels, because I feel like I'm reading a lot of graphic novels at the moment, and obviously I'm still going to carry on doing that because I love doing that, but I'm just thinking I want to sort of even it out just that little bit further, and I think 60 and 60 is a pretty good sort of goal to aim for, and it feels achievable for me personally, so that's what I'm going to try and do. I don't know if I did that. I'm just going to quickly go over to my reading spreadsheet and you'll see a bit of it while I'm filming here, because I've got my screen being recorded. So if I go on to yearly stats, let's have a look. There we go. So you can't see that properly. I'll go through fully my stats in another video at the beginning of next year, but 25% were novels and 67% were mangas and graphic novels. So I'm just trying to see if I can find the specific numbers on that. I don't know if I can find the specific numbers on that. That's not what I wanted. Okay, yeah, I can. So, again, you can't see it. Again, I will go through this fully in my stats video that I will be uploading at the beginning of next year when I've got, the full stats for the year. But anyway, I read 49 novels and 129 graphic novels. But if you add on the novellas and the anthologies, that goes up to 61. So I've just about managed it. I've read 61 novels. And then I've absolutely smashed it on the graphic novel front because I read 129 of them and I haven't even finished the year yet. But, I mean, I managed it a little bit. I mean, I read 60 novels, which is averaging just over one a week. So, that's not too bad. I'm going to take that as a win. I'm definitely going to take that as a win. So like to carry on working more towards that 50-50 in terms of reading diverse authors and things like this. Obviously I will be figuring out how to do that and how much closer I am to that in January when I do my stats video and have a proper look at my stats. But I'm just putting this goal out here because I know it's definitely not 50-50 yet, so I'd like to keep on working towards that goal. I'd also... Right, again, back over to the reading spreadsheet. Let's have a look. So, representation in books. So actually, no, that's representation. I'm looking for own voices and all the rest of it, thinking about it. Let's just have a look at all of my stats. That's not helping. Okay, where is my author stats? There should be author stats somewhere. I don't know where. That's not good. Right, so I think it's this bit here. And it looks like... I'm going to have to crunch some numbers here, to be fair, but there's 19 queer authors, 35 authors of colour, 9 disabled authors, 3 authors with mental health issues, 50 books with multiple identities, so multiple authors with different identities and things like this, and then 1 on the other category, and then none is 73 books. So I think I've gone over the 50-50 mark, which is amazing. I didn't think I needed, I'd actually done that. I thought I still needed to work on that a bit more. Obviously, I will go fully into it in the stats video that I will be doing obviously at the beginning of the year again, and I'll go through it more fully there, but I think I may have done that. At the very least, I've made significant progress with it, so that is brilliant. I'm going to have to work out exactly which chart is which on this. I will say I'm going to have to work that out, but I think I've done it either way, even... Oh, pressed the wrong thing there, but if we look at the representation chart as well, this bit is the none section, because yeah, this is representation in books, so that's got to be the author, maybe? But then again, that's saying number of authors of colour there as well. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to like look at this a bit better and a bit more like fully later in my other like video that I'm going to do later on. But I mean, these charts make it look like I've done pretty well, so I'm hoping that is the case. I'm pretty sure I have, but I don't know, I shall see in the stats video. I'm pretty sure I've done pretty well on that, but I'm not gonna like pat myself on the back yet until I have the full stats, which, like I keep on saying, will be coming in January. I want to read more sci-fi books because while I've read a few more this year, I'd like to carry on doing that. I'd also like to read more retellings again. I'm not going to add it. Okay, in terms of sci-fis, I've definitely done that. I've definitely read more sci-fis. I can tell you that right now without even looking at my chart, because you will see up above that I've got my Doctor Who vlog where I was reading a lot of Doctor Who comics there. I've been reading Mindbreaker. I've been reading all the Hunger Games. I've been reading a lot of other things as well, and I have read a lot of sci-fi. As for retellings, I don't think I've done too well on that. I think I've read about 6 at most this year, so I don't think I've done like as well on that one, but at the very least I've definitely upped my sci-fi reading, which is great. A specific number to that, but I would like to carry on just working through my retellings list and obviously my sci-fi list. I also want to read some more of the older books on my TBR because I've got a lot of old books on there. I've got the Twig trilogy, which I keep on talking about, that's been there since childhood. I've got Eragon that I've had since childhood, and a whole lot of other books that I've had for years and years and years that I still haven't read yet, so I'd really like to do that. And actually I will be helped along with this a little bit because I've just realised next year Doctor Who is back, and it's going to be a couple of specials, and David Tennant is back, and I have a lot of David Tennant 10th Doctor sci-fi books from my childhood that I've never read, and so I think that's going to help me with that goal. Obviously I don't want to just read like all my old Doctor Who books or just Doctor Who books for my sci-fi, but I think that's going to help me towards that goal, so I'm quite happy with that. But I do want to sort of read outside of those as well and get other old books off my TBR and to read more sci-fi books just in general. There isn't comics because I realise that a lot of the sci-fi things I read are comics, which is fine because I love that, but I'm just thinking it may be best as well if I try to read some other stuff as well outside of Doctor Who that's also sci-fi, just so I can sort of read more sci-fi essentially. The general idea is more sci-fi and older books off my TBR, so there will be some Doctor Who read in there, but I'm hoping there will be others as well. I'd also like to read... Well, I certainly read Doctor Who books. I mean, I've got 4 next to me right now, so I definitely read some of those. Only one of them was from my childhood that I read that I hadn't read before. The other 2 were rereads, so that didn't quite go to plan. I don't think I actually read that many older books off my TBR. I mean, I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I definitely did that one. I've read a couple of older books as well, I think, if I just quickly go over to... Do I have anything on here about the year things were published? I should do somewhere, but I don't know where. That's really useful. Okay, over to monthly. No, I don't. Do I want monthly stats? No, that's not giving me if it was old or new. Okay, let's have a look over here. So, Reign of X and all the rest of it, yeah, okay, I did read all of those. They were older books on my TBR. Hitchhiker's Guide, like I said. A lot of this is new stuff to start with. Just having a quick sort of look through. Some of this is slightly older, but a lot of this wasn't. A lot of this was new stuff. Or rereads. Because I did do a lot of rereads. And a lot of this, while it may have been like released a while ago, a lot of this I've only just got. Oh, I did read The Hunger Games. That was on my list for a really, really long time. And Seafire. I did read Seafire. That's been on there for a very long time. And actually my Loki series, Agent of Asgard, I've owned that for a very, very long time. And I've only just read them. I don't think I did that. Oh, and my Captain Marvel stuff, that's been there for a while. But that was not from my childhood. So I'm going to say I failed that. Or at least, no, I didn't fail it. I just didn't do as well as I'd hoped. Because I got distracted by the new and the shiny books and I didn't read my older books. So I'm going to have to work on that one, to say the least. Definitely going to have to work on that one. I also mentioned Eragon. It's on my TBR for this month. It's not getting read. It's absolutely not getting read. I do not have time to read Eragon this month. At least I'm pretty sure I don't. And yeah. It's not getting read this year. It's not getting read this year. I've said for about 4 years now that I'm going to read Eragon and just never have, so it's going well. That really went well. Twig Trilogy as well, never read it either. I was going to read the previous series because it's like an expanded universe, and then I didn't read that one either because I read the first two and I hated the second one so much it put me off for 2 years, and I've now unhauled that series. I will keep the Twig Trilogy because I do want to read it. Because you can sort of like read in sort of any sort of order and it's more like you just pick up on Easter eggs and things. So I should be able to still read that one. I just haven't picked it up yet. Yeah, I did terribly on the specific priority books. I'll go through this again more in detail when I go through my stats and my priority lists and all the rest of it, because I sucked at that. I absolutely sucked at that. But anyway, back to the goals. Some more out of my comfort zone and also to do more themed reading vlogs, and these sort of work together in the sense that I'm thinking of doing themed reading vlogs of me trying out different genres that I've had a couple of dipping my toes into in the last couple of years and I've reasonably enjoyed and I'm intrigued by, and vlogging the experience. And essentially what I'm thinking of doing is with these reading vlogs as well, it means that I can then sort of pinpoint properly what I enjoy about those genres that I enjoy, so then I can sort of target those towards finding more books like that, essentially. And then also you get to see my journey with it as well, because I think that would be really interesting. My only other... Well, I did one. I started off well, because I did Heartstopper. I definitely did that. And then also I became a rep for Waypoint Books Full Moon subscription box, where you are sent a book of your choice and then also a mystery book every single month, which is based on your like your tastes and everything. And that took me out of my comfort zone a few times in terms of getting me to read things like gothic books with like a couple of things that Hannah sent me and things, and I did really enjoy those, and I did vlog those, so I did kind of do that because Hannah nailed it every single time. And I discovered that I can like things outside of my usual sci-fi fantasy wheelhouse, but I did have a couple of very, very specific vlogs in mind that I didn't do. So I mean, I didn't do those ones, but I did do a couple of others. And I did do a lot of vlogging, to be fair. I did do a lot of vlogging, because obviously I did like the Doctor Who one. I did Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've been doing like the Hunger Games. I haven't posted Catching Fire or Mockingjay yet, though, because of everything going on in the world. It did not feel right to be posting videos, vlogging about reading those books at the moment. So they are on the back burner until hopefully like Palestine is free and things like this, so I'm just kind of waiting on that one. But I mean, I'm going to say a half and half that, because I definitely vlogged a lot of things and I did read a few things out of my comfort zone, but I didn't do as much as I was hoping for. Definitely didn't do as much as I was hoping for. The reading goal is again to get the fanfiction list down. I'm not saying I'm going to try and get it like down to 0, because that's not happening in a year unless I only read fanfiction all year, which is not happening. But I'd like to attempt to read more of it, because I won't say I'll try to cut down my watch later list, because I'm constantly adding to it. But what I'd like to do is make an effort to read, I'm going to say at least one fanfic a month. I'm not going to say the length of them, so it could be if I've got like a shorter TBR that month, I can read one of the longer ones. If I've got, like, I don't know, not that much time, then I can read a shorter one. But at the very least, that will then get 12 off my list, and it will hopefully get me back into the swing of trying to read more fanfic, essentially. So I'm going to say I'm going to try to read at least 12 fanfics off my list, and hopefully I will read more than that, because generally if I've got enough time I will read 2 or 3 in a row if it's short ones, but we'll see. I'm going to try to read at least one fanfic a month and get back into the swing of reading fanfiction. That is my goal. I'm not... The reason why I'm laughing is because I did not read one a month. Most months I was quite happy if I managed to catch up on the ones that I was already following, so the ones I had on subscription, because I've got quite a few stories that are on subscription that I get an email every single time they update, and I was, quite frankly, half the time still not reading those for like days at a time. Sometimes I would get a secondary update from the same fanfic and I hadn't read the first update yet. That's telling you something. But in saying that, in January I read something ridiculous like 20 in the month, and then I sort of was doing really well until about May, and then it just dropped off. And that's when I just started just about managing to read just a couple off like my subscriptions list, and that was it. And all I have done instead is just add even more. And like I said, I wasn't trying to get it down to 0 or anything, because that was just not happening. But I didn't do as well as I'd hoped on that. Definitely didn't do as well as I'd hoped on that. And if anything, the list has grown even longer, because I am me and I keep on getting these recommendations and then I'm not reading them. So I'm going to have to work on that next year. And I've got a plan for that I'll go into in a minute. Right now, let's go back into this and see what my other goals for the year were, and then I will cover what I'm doing next year goal-wise. I'm not going to give myself a number, like I said. I'm just going to say to get back into reading fanfic and getting into the habit of actually reading it, instead of just going, add that to read later, read later, read later, read later, and then never reading it. Outside of reading, I've got a couple of business and blog goals. The first one is to branch out a little bit in my designs and go maybe into designing some more sort of like specific book designs, so stuff like more specific books essentially, instead of just being sort of more like generalised, I guess. So I'd like to do that as long as I don't get copyright strike. I'd also like to maybe... I did do that. I definitely did that. I've made some Heartstopper things. I've also made some Six of Crows things, so that is great. I'm also going to be looking into more, like, doing more stuff like this as well in the future, so I'm quite happy with that, because I definitely did that. We go into a little bit more of, like, geeky, nerdy stuff as well, because obviously I'm a massive geek and a massive nerd, so I'd like to do some more stuff around that. Didn't do that. I did branch out into writing stuff as well, but I never sort of went into more like the geekdom. I definitely should have done, but I definitely did not do that this year. Also quite like to maybe look into different products to sell as well, because at the moment I'm doing the basics, sort of like t-shirts, jumpers, stickers, hoodies, or like sweatshirts I should say, so jumpers essentially, like mugs and tote bags, things like this. But I want to look more into maybe like jewellery, because obviously I'm a massive jewellery wearer. Notebooks, things like this. I've got to try and find like supplies for that and stuff like this, so we'll see if that happens, but I would like to at least look into that. I'd also like... I did that because I've started selling notebooks. I have started selling notebooks, so that is one thing. I've also got like a couple of AirPod cases as well on my shop. I've got one Christmas stocking and then also one cushion. So I am sort of looking into expanding like the cushions and stuff. Obviously, like the Christmas stocking is very, very seasonal, so I can't really sort of stock those throughout the year, but yeah, I've sort of branched out a little bit. I did not go into jewellery though, unfortunately, because I could not find a like proper supplier for them or anything with anything that I could make, because my like supplier just stopped making jewellery, which was just a pain because I had so many ideas and then they just stopped making them. I'm looking more into like water bottles, like these ones. I'm also looking into like key rings and things like this as well. There's a few things I am looking into though, and I am hopefully going to be doing more with that next year, fingers crossed. But I definitely made progress with that because I started selling like journals and things like that as well, so there was a bit of progress in that one, in diversifying my store a bit. I'd like to learn more about marketing and then apply that, because while I have done a bit more marketing this year, I don't think I've done enough. I definitely haven't done enough, so I'd like to sort of learn more about marketing in whatever capacity I can, considering social media changes constantly. We may have the fall of Twitter on our hands. Instagram at the moment, it's Instagramming and stuff like this, and like obviously there's like TikTok and there's a whole load of like Twitter alternatives now, like Post and Mastodon and all the rest of them. So I'll see what I can do there and see which ones I like and try and sort of focus on marketing on those platforms as long as they're still active platforms. But either way, I would like to just generally learn more about marketing and try and apply that to my business, because I'm not doing enough at the moment and I really need to get on that. And also, well, I watched a lot of marketing videos. I definitely did that. I've also joined a sales challenge. I'm currently working my way through it at the moment, so that's good. I am doing that. I'm also actually doing a Instagram challenge as well at the moment. It just started yesterday at time of filming, so that should hopefully be taking effect soon, and I'll hopefully be learning a lot more there. I did not look into anything other than Threads, to be fair, and I keep on forgetting Threads exists. I literally have the tab open on my laptop at all times, and then I'm not using it, so I should probably start using Threads more, because I do really enjoy Threads. I just don't use it that much. So yeah, I've got to start doing that some more. I've tried starting to use Pinterest a bit more as well in terms of marketing, but that again, I sort of go through phases of being like really like productive and like scheduling a whole load of things, and then I just go dormant again. So I need to get into a schedule with that and just scheduling my content in general, because I'm terrible at scheduling like Instagram posts and all the rest of it. I'm just really bad at it, so I need to get onto that as well. But I'll see what all of the like different challenges I'm doing and like what the experts say and things like this, see what's working, and sort of just carry on doing that at the moment. So I mean, I've made steps towards marketing a bit more, and also I've reached 1k on TikTok. I forgot to mention, at time of filming I am at 1k on TikTok, which is amazing, because I wasn't trying to like market myself on there. I haven't marketed my business on there at all. I just talk nerdy stuff on there, and apparently people like that, so I need to somehow work into that. But then again, I did also look into TikTok Shop, but I've decided against that at the moment because of some of the reviews I've seen from TikTok Shop and things like this. So I have looked into more marketing, I just haven't managed to properly apply it in a few cases. But I definitely did that in a fashion, but I did do it. I just like to organise myself more with just everything, to see if I can maybe just start like pre-writing some things and like making things in advance when I can, because at the moment I sort of do a mad panic in the sense that I have everything noted down of what I want to write about and what I want to make, or mostly what I want to write about. What I make sometimes can go a little bit off the cuff occasionally, I won't lie. So I'd just like to be able to like design things and write things and get things ready in advance, because at the moment it's sort of like a mad scramble at points. Obviously I can't do that when I'm blogging about specific like films and TV shows as they come out, because I'm doing explainers for whatever happens in those, so I can't really do that. But I'd like to do that more with like my more general blog posts, which is like the reading orders that I do and other stuff I plan in between like different Marvel projects that come out, and also just my products. I'd like to like make some stuff in advance so I don't have to like scramble to try and come up with something on a Monday because I've gone, oh god, I haven't done anything. So I'd like to get that done as well, and just try to be more organised in all of that and just get things done in advance, because I'm sure it will make my life 10 times less stressful, which would be really nice. As for general life, yeah, I've sort of done this in a way, because I have prepped things in advance when, like, before I've gotten busy. So like I prepped a whole load of Captain Marvel posts before November, because I knew Nano was coming up, so I knew I was going to be really busy. I did the exact same thing when like Comic-Con was coming up, and then also at Newcastle I was sort of pre-filming and stuff like this. I'm pre-filming this video as well, like the week before I need it. I've done a couple of pre-filming bits as well. I've also edited videos a little bit more in advance as to where I would usually do it. But I have also started designs and sort of like sort of found elements that I love to use in some aspect or other and sort of like save them and things like this so I can use them later. So in some ways I have done this, but most of the time I'm still mad scrambling. Not gonna lie. At the very least I have an idea in my head as to what I'm gonna do for like each design, and I usually have them sort of ticking in, like in the back of my mind for like a couple of weeks before I physically make them. But I definitely need to work on this more because that didn't happen. Well, it sort of happened, but it didn't properly happen either. It was an iffy one. It depended on what was going on. If it was like a normal month, then I was just happily just writing things as and when I needed them and like making things as and when I needed them. When it was a more busy month, I was pre-filming and like pre-planning and pre-making things, but I definitely could have done better on that. Definitely. Goals, I've only got a couple at the moment. The first one is to sort out my sleep schedule. I have said this every single month this year and I am still going to bed at 2 AM. So I need to fix that because while it's fine, some days it just isn't enough, and I'd like to get it back to, I'm going to say, 1 AM in the morning. So it's not like I'm going to bed ridiculously early, and I'm being realistic with myself, but I'd like to maybe get back to going to sleep at like 1 AM in the morning and stop it creeping later and later and later and later, and maybe just get that a little bit earlier. If I can go to bed before that time, great, but 1 AM is going to be my goal. I want to be able to go to bed consistently at 1 AM in the morning and actually be asleep by 1 AM in the morning by December next year. That is my main life goal. And then my final... I didn't do this. I had sort sleep schedule out every single month on my bullet journal as one of my goals. Never did it. There was a couple of attempts made and I managed to creep it back to like 1:30 and then it creeped back to 2. And recently it's been creeping over to 2:30, 3 AM. Which is doing the opposite of what I want it to do. So I've just been like going to bed later and later and later, and it's like no, go backwards. I need to go to bed at like 1, and I keep on not doing that because I keep on getting distracted by Instagram stories or like something on TV, or at the moment like gaming videos turning up at like midnight, which is because people are doing like gaming myths and things like this. So I'm just watching those instead of going to sleep and things like this. So I haven't done that. Absolutely haven't done that. My average is still 2 AM in the morning, so that was an abject fail. Goal is more of a fun one, and that is that I want to work more on cosplaying because I love being Loki, the goddess of stories. I love wearing like the golden horns. I admit the helmet is slightly too big for my tiny head. For context, my head is so small. My glasses that I wear are literally made for a child. So that's how small my head is. I have a very small head, and I think it's like an adult size helmet, which makes it a little bit too big, but I still love wearing it. I love wearing the Loki outfit. I love pretending to be Loki. I love all of that. I love doing like TikToks in that Loki cosplay, essentially, and I would love to cosplay as more people. Doctor Strange is definitely up there, obviously, because I adore him. I would love to be like in a Doctor Strange outfit and being like Doctor Strange. I think that'd be really fun. I would also love to do something with like the Winter Soldier. I'd love to do like Winter Soldier based stuff as well, because obviously I'm a big Bucky fan as well, so I'd love to do something along those lines. Abigail Brand as well, because Abigail Brand actually has green hair as well, so that'd be easy for me with my dyed green hair, and I think she's a badass of a character, and I think she's turning up next year in Secret Invasion, so I'd love to do something along those lines. Polaris as well, I'd love to do more with Polaris, who is Lorna Dane, who is Magneto's daughter. I have loved her for years. She was going to be my first official cosplay for, I think, Comic-Con in 2019. I was going to cosplay as her, but it was just far too hot to be running around in big leather boots and a hoodie and everything else. It was far too hot, so I dropped it. But I would have loved to have cosplayed as her, so I'd love to do that. I'd also love to do something maybe with Dream of the Endless, because I love Dream of the Endless. I adore him so much. I'm absolutely in love with him, so I'd love to do something with that. Along with Delirium, because I have the hair for Delirium. I just have the hair for Delirium, so that'd be great. I've also got a coat that's like a long black wool coat that looks like Sherlock, so maybe some sort of like alternative punk looking Sherlock or something. I'd love to do something with that and make use of that coat, because it's just currently just keeping me warm in winter, so I'd love to use it more in like cosplays and things like this, because that's why I originally bought it, because it looks like a Sherlock coat, so I'd love to do something with that, maybe something to do with Captain Jack Harkness. I'm sure the 10th or the 14th Doctor will be a part of the plans somewhere, because I'm a massive, obviously, 10th Doctor and David Tennant fan. Crowley as well would be great. I'd love to do something with Crowley. Essentially, the list is endless. I just had someone in my head and it just popped straight back out again. Who else was I thinking of then? Because I said Crowley, the Doctor, Captain Jack would be great as in Harkness. There's many people. I've definitely forgotten some. Probably a member of the X-Men would be great as well, because obviously I'm a nerd for the X-Men. But anything like that, like President Loki, that was it. President Loki as well, because I love President Loki and I've got some of the stuff for it already, so it would just again be those finishing touches to get that. But I'd love to just do more with cosplay as well. That is a goal, whether it's for actually conventions or if it's just for TikTok or just fun. I'd love to do more in terms of cosplay as well. And I think that's... I continued with the Loki Goddess of Stories. Definitely not like the TV show where he's the god of stories now, but in the outfit. I just knocked the camera again, sorry, as I was getting up there, because I just realised I was cringing downwards at some of these because I just didn't do them. Anyway, so I went to Yauk on day 2, actually. Day 2 of Yauk, I was Loki. So I had the 4 horns and I had my Loki t-shirt on as well, which is his outfit that he wears in the God Who Fell to Earth storyline, which is one of my favourite outfits he's ever worn, so I did do that. I have never really cosplayed at a convention before, so that was really fun to do that. And actually someone dressed as Hela was walking towards me at one point and went, "Brother!" and I went, "Sister!" and that was a really good moment to sort of have someone sort of realise who I was. Like, I had the horns on, so that was pretty obvious, but it was still really fun to do that. It was the only cosplay I did, though. Didn't work on any others. I looked quite a few times, I won't lie, at various different places to do with like cosplaying and things like this, but I never actually made that leap and bought anything, because I was, to be fair, saving for Yauk and like tour and things like this, so I wasn't like looking at cosplaying. But I did buy myself a coat that looks like kelps. Thinking about it, I have bought myself a coat that looks like kelps, because it's like all red and it's got the golden like the gold buttons on it and things. That was really great. I found it in a charity shop. Like, I actually found my Sherlock coat, and both of them were about £6 each, which was amazing. But I found that, but I haven't done anything with it yet, and I haven't done anything with my great big wool coat either, because it's just been too cold and I haven't had any inspiration. And actually thinking about it as well, I did buy myself a coat that looked like Dreams as well, like Dream when he's in the real world. So I did do that, but I haven't worn it as like a cosplay yet, because I just haven't, to be honest. I completely forgot about cosplay in terms of like doing it more on like TikTok and making more and all the rest of it. I just did not do that, and now my camera battery's flashing at me, so I'm gonna quickly change over the battery and tell you what my new goals are. And now I'm back again, this time with the light on, because I mean it's getting a bit dark in here because it's winter, the sun's going in too early. Anyway, so on the whole, I haven't done too badly, I don't think, on the 2023 goals. I mean, there was quite a few I abject failed at, let's be honest here, but there were a few that I still did really well and others I made progress in. So apart from like working on sleep and like things like that, I didn't do too badly. There was definitely ones I could have done a lot better, like working on sleep, but at the same time I did really well on like diversifying my reading and things like this. So I'm not overly like displeased with myself, shall we say. I'm not overly disappointed in myself. I think I did pretty well, and considering the year I've had, where we have had the new windows put in, we've had our kitchen refitted, we've had roofs changed, we've had the extension replastered, we've had the flooring up in places, we've had the whole house has been rewired. I've been in Newcastle, I've been at Comic-Con, I've been everywhere, things like this. To be fair, considering the year I've had and how busy that's been with everything and how stressful it's been, I haven't done too badly. I'm going to say I haven't done too badly considering the year I've had. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. But now let's go on to my 2024 goals. I'm going to start with my reading goals, and then I'm going to go through my life goals, which includes business stuff and all the rest of it. So for starters, for my first reading goal, I want to use Storygraph more and not Goodreads, because years ago I signed up for Storygraph, I started using it, and then I just fell off and started using Goodreads again. But I really want to start using Storygraph, because I've seen a lot of people talking about like their stats and things like this on there, and that really interests me. And also I just don't really want to use Goodreads that much anymore. I think I'll try and use both concurrently maybe, because I do still quite like seeing what everybody else is reading and things like this on Goodreads, but I am thinking Storygraph is where I want to be at for 2024, so I'm going to try and use that one instead. For my second goal, I would like to update my spreadsheet as I read books instead of doing it in a mad scramble at the end of the month, because what I have found is that I will just read books and things like this and then just wait until the end of the month and then go, oh god, I need to do my stats for the month for my wrap up video, and I haven't filled in my spreadsheets, and then I spent ages painstakingly going through my Goodreads, finding everything I read this like in the last month, and then updating it from there. And it takes ages, it's annoying, and I should really be updating my spreadsheet as I read it, like as I read, instead of just waiting for the end of the month, because I always annoy myself whenever I do it. So I want to start updating the spreadsheet as I read. That is definitely going to be a goal, even if it means I just update at the end of the week or whatever with whatever I've read, and I don't update it with every single book. As long as I'm not mad scrambling at the end of every single month, I don't mind. As long as I'm not mad scrambling, I am happy. So I just need to do that. There is also, I want to carry on that idea of doing more themed vlogs where I am reading outside of my comfort zone, because I do not do that right now. Because, well, I do occasionally, again, like with the books Hannah sends me, they are sometimes outside of my comfort zone, and I also did it with Heartstopper. But I have quite a few books now on my TBR that I physically own or I can get hold of from the library that would take me out of my comfort zone, and I really want to read them, because I have discovered that there's a few books with romances in that I don't mind. So I definitely want to like look more into that and look more into like contemporary and things like this, and I want to vlog the experience, because I mean, I'm a hardcore sci-fi fantasy reader, so I think it'd be really interesting to see what I like in other genres, and then sort of, like I said in the original goals video, pinpoint what I really like and then start finding more books like that. So I definitely want to do that more. I definitely want to do more themed vlogs. I also want to start making a monthly anticipated releases video, because what I do is at the end of end of December, beginning of January, every single year without fail, is I find a whole load of like different blog posts with saying this is what's coming out this month, and then I open those tabs and then I never look at them until like it gets to the next year and I'm closing them again to open up the next load. And I will occasionally go through maybe like one of them and close it, and then just never close the others, and I need to stop doing that. And I'm thinking if I make that anticipated releases video every single month, I will be forced to look at the tabs. So at the very least, even if they remain open because they're like a year-long one or like a 6-month-long blog post about anticipated releases, at least I will be using them and they won't just be uselessly open. So that is what I want to do. I want to make anticipated releases videos every single month, or at the very least every other month. That is the goal. Also, I would like to keep on upping the amount of diverse authors I'm reading. Like I always say, I'm trying to get to the 50-50, and I think I may have just managed it this year, maybe, but I would like to still like be continuing to work on that and continuing to like keep that up at the 50-50 level, or making it like 60-40 or whatever. I definitely want to carry on doing that. I also want to prioritize reading fanfic, because as I said in the last like I think 2 goals videos, I have not done this. I have not prioritized my fanfic whatsoever. I did in January, I did pretty well in February, I got to like May and dropped off. So what I'm thinking is that I want to prioritize maybe 1 day a month where I just read fanfic. So if that means I'm reading a really long fanfic, it's still getting that one off the list, or I'm reading a ton of like small mini like 1,000 long words ones, or maybe like a couple of like mid-range ones or whatever. At the very least, I'm still working through that fanfic, and I'm still trying to get like that list down a little bit, because at the moment It is ridiculous. I am sitting here, it's like 90 pages long, it keeps on growing, and I'm just not reading the stuff on there. So I now really need to just prioritise it and actually read some of that fanfic. So I'm thinking if I try and like set aside one day a month where I just read fanfic, that should hopefully make it a little bit easier and maybe get more into the swing of it. Because I mean, when I was a teenager, I used to read fanfic all of the time, and now I just don't, and I really want to fix that. And then the final bookish goal I've got is I just want to write some more, because I am not doing enough of that at the moment. I go through fits and starts where I sit there and I will write loads in like 1 week, and then the next week I'll I'll write nothing, and then I'll write nothing for like another 3 or something ridiculous. And I want to stop doing that. I want to be able to write consistently. I am not going to give myself like a schedule or anything, because schedules and writing and me do not mix at all. I will actively go against it. But what I'm thinking is that I may set myself a monthly word goal, and then if I want to write it all in one great big week, or if I want to like spread it out across the month or whatever, that may do something. I don't know. I just want to be writing consistently again, because there were some months where I wasn't writing at all. So at the very least, if I can write something every single month, that will be great. That's what I'm getting at. I'd like to write something at least a little bit every single month. That's what I'm going to go for. Then for general life goals, the first one is I want to look into getting my radio play published somewhere, because I wrote a radio play when I was at uni for one of my courses, and everyone said it was really, really good, and I should send it into like BBC, like radio production, whatever it is, I've forgotten the name of it. And then I never did. Or at least I tried, and then I could never sort of work it out, and then I gave up after a couple of months because I forgot about it, to be honest. And then I started reading Elle McNichol books in the last couple of years, and it's really inspired me again, because my play was about like autism and being autistic and things like this. So I want to like do that, especially after meeting her at YALC and her encouraging me and saying, do it, just do it, we need more like autistic authors about and things like this. So I definitely want to look more into getting that published, because I really enjoyed writing that, and I would like to get some of my work out there. So I'm thinking I want to try and look into getting that done. I also want to work on getting more organised, because I am not organised right now, and as I said in like previously, I just want to get more organised and start having like a bank of things that I can like that I've worked on in the past, and I can just release them and like A, during the busy weeks, and B, just when I want to, because it's already like ready and saved and waiting to go. That's what I want, because I hate this mad scramble. I really, really hate it. I've managed it quite well with like YouTube and planning things in advance and filming things in advance and things, but I want to start doing that more with my business, and then also my blog. Definitely want to get more organised on both of those. I'd also like to explore more options on Etsy, on like selling different things as well. Like I said previously, at the moment I'm selling like t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, stickers, notebooks, things like this, but I want to look more into other things as well. I'm obviously looking at like water tumblers. I'm also looking at like key rings. I was looking at ornaments, but that looks to be like really expensive to like ship to other countries and things, and I want to be able to say I ship worldwide with everything I sell. So I want to look more into what does sell worldwide, what I can sell, this kind of thing. Definitely want to look more into that. And also I want to work more on the marketing side of things. Obviously I've got these sales challenges and things like this that I'm currently doing, but I do want to like work more on the marketing and working more on like just talking about my products and talking about like the creative process, and then also like selling these things, all of this kind of thing. I definitely want to work more on that. I do have a plan for one thing at the moment, so hopefully that will go well for me, but I am going to be working just generally more on marketing myself and stuff, so look out for that, because I'm going to be talking a lot more about my products in the new year, I swear. Then I also want to sort out my sleep schedule. I keep on saying this, but I definitely want to sort out my sleep schedule, because like I said, it's creeping more towards 3 AM in the morning, and that's not good. I want to work it back to 1 AM. So if I can work like actually being ready for bed and going to sleep at 1 AM by the end of the year, that'd be great, because like I said, 3 AM is not doing it for me. I need to be in bed earlier than that. Like 2 AM is fine, but I would like to get more sleep. So I'm thinking if I can work it back to 1 AM, like I said last year, hopefully third year's the charm and I'll actually manage it. Then then also I'd like to work on closing some tabs, because I will put a photo here, or somewhere on the screen anyway, of all of the tabs I currently have open on my Google Chrome, which is a lot, I know, and I keep on putting off watching any of these and like doing anything with them. Like, I get my standard tabs open, like Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, like Archive of Our Own as well, Discord, things like this. Those I will quite happily keep open because I'm using those all of the time. But then when it's stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to read that in a minute, or I'm going to watch that in a minute, and then I never do. So what I'd like to do is actually cut down those tabs and actually start like watching these things, and maybe just keeping them open for like 24, 48 hours, watching them and getting them back off again, because I'm sure having this many tabs open is not doing any good to my laptop, and yet I carry on doing it. So I would really, really like to just have some of those tabs closed and actually like work on closing them and using those tabs when I open them, instead of just leaving them there for 2 years, because I think some of them have been open for like 2 years now, and I still haven't watched the thing in question. So I should probably actually work on that, because if I carry on the way I'm going, I'm not going to be able to tell what tabs what, because I'll have too many open. So definitely need to work on that. Definitely want to close some tabs. On that front as well, I'd also like to keep my YouTube watch later down, because it was up to like 1,500 videos a while back, and I've managed to like scale it down to 700, but it is creeping back up again. So I would like to like keep that down. I don't have a specific number, but I would like to be like adding things to the watch later and then watching them back off again like quite quickly, because at the moment they are just sitting there for ages not doing anything, and I need to be watching these things, because some of these are quite like timely and things, and I need to be watching them as they are like relevant, instead of like having them sit there for like 6 months and then lose all relevancy. So what I need to do is start watching these things on time. So if I like add one, I watch it, you know, and sort of doing things like this, instead of just leaving it open for, or like leaving them in the watch later playlist for like 6 months, a year at a time without watching them. So I'd definitely like to work on that a bit more. And then finally, I would like to do some more exercise and do what I call get tall fit, because at the moment I am not tall fit. And when I say tall fit, what I mean is that I can just dance away like the night and have a really good time without getting a stitch in my side within 2 songs, because that's what happens when I go to concerts now. I dance for 2 songs and then I've got a stitch in my side, and it makes it really hard for the rest of the gig to carry on dancing, and I don't want to stop dancing because I have so much fun at a McFly gig, for example, because they're generally the people I'm going to see, and I have so much fun dancing and singing and all the rest of it along with the show, and if I've got a stitch in my side, I can't do that as well. So what I'd like to do is just like start getting myself tall fit. I'm not going to say I want to lose like a certain amount of weight or anything, though that would be a nice sort of like extra bonus, because I am putting on a bit of weight, so that would be great. But I'm not going to like say I want to lose like X amount of pounds or whatever. I'm just going to say I want to be tall fit so I can dance the night away at a McFly gig, or Taylor Swift for that matter, because I've got a Taylor Swift gig coming up as well next year. I'm going to the Eras tour, which is so exciting. So I just want to be able to dance that night away, and then any like McFly gig I go to as well. I don't have any planned at the moment, but hopefully I will. Like, hopefully they'll tour and it'll all be fine and I'll be able to see them again next year. I usually do, but fingers crossed. Anyway, I want to be able to dance that night away without having a massive pain in my side within like 2 songs. And I think that is all the goals that I have for the moment. I can't think of anything else. If there is, I will just be writing it down in my journal and hopefully working on it next year, but I think that's enough to be getting on with for the minute. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me a goal you absolutely smashed this year. I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a target emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all of my social media fun to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, which is going to be filled with all things like Loki and everything Marvel related that I've just mentioned, and a whole load more, to be honest, as well. All of that will be linked down below if you want to check it out, as well as a link as well down below to my Etsy store that sells all of that bookish merch as well, if you're interested in checking that out and treating yourself to something. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. Until next time, everyone, bye!